My name is Savannah and welcome back. Excuse me. It is May 1st. It's May 1st at 7:45 in the morning. I had the day off from work today, but my daughter still had to go to school, so I had to get up. That's why I'm awake and out of bed and dressed and all that other lovely jazz. This is going to be my April recap. And I don't know how long it's going to be because honestly, I have things to show you, but not a lot of progress to show you. So yeah, I don't know how much of a video this will be, but we're still going to do it because I am trying to do these recap videos for the whole year just to see, I guess just to show. Honestly, it's really just to show because I like showing off my hand knits and my progress and all that other jazz, which I do on my Instagram. So if you want to see more detail, like in-depth progress stuff, you can follow me on Instagram. All the links are in the description below. But I do like doing these videos just to showcase what I've been working on and all that other stuff. That's really all that I'm here for. Anyways, let's go ahead and dive into the content of this video. And maybe if I can remember any kind of life thingies, I will add those at the end to the content. I have no finishes. I have been working incredibly slowly on my knits lately, at least for April. It's been a lot of burnout at work this month. So, just the lack of motivation to even knit is not there. So there's no finishes, unfortunately. But I think I'm okay with that. I think I'm okay with my knitting speed at the moment, my production. I think I'm okay with it. I'm just kind of going with the flow. So, but I do have plenty of whips to show you. Oh, and I'm gonna go ahead and start with my most focused on piece right now. So I'll just go ahead and show you that. It is the Artisan cardigan out of the Sanisgarn booklet. This is 2308, volume 1. Looks like this. And this is not where the picture is. The Artisan cardigan. I want to call it anything but cardigan. Let's see. Artisan looks like this. I will show you another image. All right, so I did start this back in March, and you would have seen the back panel, I believe. Only the back panel, maybe. Should I use this? Might be helpful. I'm getting there. I'm almost finished, but I will tell you the drama that has ensued with this piece. Okay, so I believe the last time I showed you all I had was the back panel, and I don't even know if that was finished. I have since picked up, knit this panel, picked up this panel, ribbing, button band, and one sleeve is nearly complete. And then I have the other sleeve to do. So let me tell you about the drama that is this cardigan. All right, so the way that this has worked is you'll knit the back panel in its entirety, minus the ribbing, but you knit the whole back panel. And then you will come back and you'll pick up for this side and you will knit the entirety of this front panel. It will not be attached on the sides. You actually seam those up after the fact. You come back and you knit this panel. So I did all of that to the recommended length on the recommended needles because I believe I was hitting gauge, or at least I was close to hitting gauge. And then the instructions say to knit the ribbing and then seam up the sides. I thought that was kind of strange and seemed like potentially, you know, a disaster. So what I did was I went ahead before I added the ribbing and before I seamed it, I blocked it so that my edges would be nice and flat and I could easily seam up the sides and then go ahead and add the ribbing. Well, what I didn't think of prior is that obviously the panel is moss stitch. That's one texture. Oop, sorry, I hate that I forget that does that. This is a chevron pattern in just knits and purls. So technically it's almost a garter. I think it's almost like a garter ridge, but just in chevrons. And then this side is cables. All three different. So you know what happens when you block three different textures? They grow to different lengths, even though I knit them all to the same length. They block definitely differently. So this panel, because it was garter, at least that's what I'm calling it, it grew almost 2 inches longer than every other panel. I was like, oh dear God, what just happened? So I got really nervous. Like I even picked up and started or what I did was I seamed it up afterwards, and then I could just tell it was just so much longer, and it looks like it still is now, but I'll tell you in a second. I'll keep talking. I even picked up the ribbing and started doing that, but then I was just getting really nervous that it was just gonna be crap. So I did rip out what I started with the ribbing, and I ripped out probably 1.5 inches from this side. I unseamed it. When I seamed it back up, it did seem to go a lot better. I think this side could have been reworked, but it is what it is. And then I went ahead and added ribbing. Now I didn't add as much ribbing as the pattern called for because this blocked out a bit longer. Even you know, the other pieces blocked out a little bit longer than it looks like in the pattern. So the pattern, it looks kind of cropped, and then they have a longer ribbing, so it still looks kind of cropped. Let me see. Hold on. Sorry. I just want to show you. Look on her body. That still looks a little bit on the crop side, even with longer ribbing. Granted, the yarn in here is Santa's yarn. What did they use? Double Sunday held with tin silk mohair. So a DK with a mohair. I just knit mine with an undyed superwash merino, which I haven't used superwash merino in a really long time. And this is why, because it grows exponentially. But yeah, so I decided to shorten. I mean, I kind of wish it was longer because I like the longer look of that ribbing in the picture, but it's already quite long. Anyway, so I finished the ribbing up about half of the amount. Sorry, half of the amount. And then I went ahead and just did the double knit button band all the way around, just to have that done. So that has not been blocked yet. So that's why it's pulling up. So it definitely needs to be reblocked. When I did block this, I did not pin it or anything. I just laid it out flat just to let it do its own thing. So when I reblock this, I am definitely going to be pinning the crap out of probably all the sides but this. But we will see. And then I went ahead and picked up and started knitting, which is all double moss on the sleeves as well. So I'm almost there. I got about I'd say like anywhere between 6 to 8 more centimeters before the ribbing. So yeah, it has definitely been some biz. I got all these ends hanging off there from adding new yarn balls, from the seaming, from the buttonholes, and double knit button bands. If you're unaware, you actually cut the yarn when you do that. So the only thing left after finishing knitting this is I'm actually going to dye this. I'm not going to leave it this color. I've realized, so I have a handful of white hand knits, like sweaters and a cardigan. I never reach for the cardigan because it's this creamy off-white color, and I don't necessarily like that color. Especially if I wear it with a white t-shirt. Like, you can tell that the t-shirt's white, and then this non-dyed, undyed yarn is more of a creamy color. So I'm not sure what I'm going to do with that cardigan up there that's white. This is the sweater, and the rest of them are just sweaters, so that doesn't really matter because you're not going to see an undershirt of any kind of like, like here. This is pre-made Shein. I didn't make it, but compared to this, I don't know if you can tell, this is a little bit more yellow. So my idea, well, I've had several ideas. Originally I was going to dye this a light blue, but then I was like, I did I did purchase buttons already for it in this beautiful brown and cream. So I was like, oh, I don't know about that on a blue cardigan. And then I was like, well, that green that's in the book, that's beautiful. That would be lovely. But I'm like, how often would I wear that? I do want a green cardigan, and maybe one day I will make one like that, like a lime green cardigan. But again, with these buttons, I don't know. I don't even know if these buttons will fit in the button holes. I still have to try that. But if they do, and I'm going to, go with these, if I go with these for this, I think I'm just going to dye this beige. I know I'd wear it if it was beige. I know that it would go with a lot of things in my wardrobe, that it would just be something that would work for me. So I think that's what's going to happen. So when it's time to block this, I'm actually just going to dye it and then block it from there. So yeah, that is the plan, and this is what I've been working on. I have to wind up another skein of yarn for it. So again, this is an undyed yarn, wool to dye for. It is a 100% superwash merino wool. I think it's a worsted weight. I can't remember for sure. Yes, this is worsted weight. So this is what I've been working on. All right, other whips. This one I haven't worked on at all, but I figured I'd show you just because I should be working on this. This is the Uma sweater by Aegyo Knits. I started this one back in March as well. I haven't touched this in weeks. I don't know why. It smells a little like how yarn smells when it's been sitting for a while. So this is, it's a paneled piece, which is nice. I did join in the round. I don't know where I was the last time, if it was here the last time I showed you, but I have joined in the round. And now it's just knitting back and forth for forever. Honestly, I don't know how long. I haven't looked at the pattern in a while. I'm knitting this using Lion Brand's Fisherman's Wool in the Birch Tweed colorway. I love Lion Brand's Fisherman's Wool. I have more in stash actually. So this creamy white and then a brown. So definitely know I'm going to like the garment, the fabric, because I love Lion Brand's Fisherman's Wool. So yeah, this is the front because of the panels. Again, I just haven't touched it. Hopefully I'll come back to this. It's a worsted weight as well on, you know, on bigger, it's a bigger gauge, so it should work up relatively quickly, but not right now. Just wanted an update. All right, so new starts / whips that I have on my desk. I started the porcelain sweater by Lay Knit. I don't know how to pronounce the designer's full name, so I'll just use her design name, which is Lay Knit. The porcelain sweater is pretty popular. If you haven't seen it, it looks like, so this is where I'm at, actually. I haven't touched this one in a while either. I actually had to restart because I messed up. So this is just the top of the back panel. I am knitting this off gauge because I want a lightweight summer sweater. So this is supposed to be knit with a fingering plus a mohair to make a DK weight gauge on US 6 needles, I believe, 4mm. Yes, well, I'm still using the same needle size, but I'm only knitting with fingering weight, no mohair. So I'm using Knit Picks palette yarn in the colorway Nimbus, and I believe the other one is Seal, if that's how that's pronounced. C-I-E-L-E, C-I-E-L, C-I-E-L. That's the dark blue. And the light color is Nimbus. I'm hoping I'm remembering that right. So yeah, I just wanted an open gauge, lightweight sweater for the summer. Honestly, I'm pretty sure I could probably wear this all year long, but definitely summer was in my my goal, honestly, for this. Will I have it finished this summer? I don't know. It is colorwork knit flat for the top part, and then the rest will be in the round. But yeah, I just wanted a more open gauge. Honestly, all I had to do was go up one. So I kept the same needle size, but I only had to go up one size in the pattern to meet gauge, quote unquote. So, you know, that's all. That's really all I've done to make this be what I want it to be. So I'm hoping for the best. I'm hoping it'll be nicely and oversized. I mean, technically, I probably could have gone up one more size, but to get the really big oversized look that I'm kind of wanting, but we'll just stick with this. I don't want to restart it. I only had to restart it because the way that the shoulder there's no short rows. In this, it's actually oddly, you're just casting on more stitches. Like you go and then you cast on, and then you go back and you cast on, and then you go back. And so it's like short rows, but it's not. And I had just miscounted and forgot to do another cast on section. So it's a little awkward there. Like if I was more confident, like I know how to do short rows, but by following directions, trying to do it on my own, I don't feel confident in doing that, or else I would have cast on the entire amount that I needed and then done the short rows from there. But again, I'm just not confident enough in knowing exactly how to do that. But yeah, so this is something I need to get back to if I'm hoping to have that done for this year. But I also had to cast on a new project as well. I'm in that mentality, and I'm sure a lot of other people are. They're like, oh, I have all these things on the needles. I can't start the other thing until something is finished. And I'm like that a lot. But then that means the things that I really want to make just never get started, because in the process of those other things being done, new things pop up, new shiny things, you know, and I'm just like, shoot, that one thing I wanted to knit got pushed back again and again and again. So sometimes I have to remind myself, hey, just get it cast on, you know, that way it's there. You can knit it whenever you feel like. It doesn't have to be, you know, your main focus at the moment, but at least it's on the needles. It's there for you if you want it. So I did that. I did that because this pattern will get pushed off again and again and again if I didn't, because it's scary. This is, I guess you can consider it my unicorn knit. This is something I've wanted to make for a while. It's definitely something that is going to be more on the challenging side. And I've come to the terms that it will probably take me a year or more to make. But again, it's on the needles. So now that is one less thing I have to worry about. That is the Princess Diana Black Sheep sweater. I'm going to put it on this side because I'm leaning this way. Looks like this. It is a free pattern on Ravelry that you can get. And yeah, I mean, I love Princess Diana. I think this sweater is super cute. So I went ahead and cast it on. Well, I did a swatch first, of course. So this is my swatch. I only stopped mid-sheep because my colorwork tension was not great. So I couldn't stretch. My sheep was going to pucker, so I just stopped it there. But yeah, I did a quick gauge swatch and then realized that I have less stitches per gauge, which was really, really awesome to find out. So I went ahead and immediately cast on. This yarn is Holskarn Super Soft in the Carmine colorway. The white is the Ecru colorway, also by Sanaskarn. So it's a fingering weight yarn. This sweater is knit on a US 1 and a US 2. So it's a 2.25 millimeter and a 3 millimeter. It is a very tiny gauge. There are only 3 sizes to this sweater, but it's also a free sweater. So I think it only goes up to a, sorry, I have it right here. Actually, I could easily tell you. So it looks like it's to fit up to a 44-inch bust with a positive ease all the way up to a 47-inch bust. So really not that big. Honestly, only 10 inches larger than me. So, dang, I'm really only doing the middle size, huh? So I chose to knit the middle size, which is for an finished measurement is 41 inches. So that'll only give me 5 inches of positive ease. So it's definitely not going to be an oversized sweater. I just wasn't sure if this would look good with 10 inches of positive ease on me. It probably would have, but I decided to go with the middle size. Yeah, I'm not very far. This is all I have. It's 2x2 ribbing on a US 1 2.25 millimeter needle. And as you can see, it is bottom up. It is actually supposed to be a bottom up flat panel knitting. So, you know, you knit the front panel, you knit the back panel, and then you knit the sleeves. I didn't really want to do that because, as you can see, like I said, I did this flat. I did not do a great job with my color work tension like this. So I decided, with the help of others on Ravelry, I'm following some other, I'm following other people's like notes and information on how they knit theirs. And I decided to go ahead and cast on in the round. And so that way I know my color work will not be, I'm more confident with my color work in the round than flat. Granted, I am knitting it flat here, but this is more traditional, I guess, fair all type. And this is more almost like intarsia. So I wouldn't be starting the white at the beginning of the thing. And then I think that's the reason why it's so tight, because I'm not going to start the white here if I don't have any color work here. Do you understand what I'm saying? Because I don't really like to catch my floats if I don't have to. Anyway, so I was reading through some other people's information on their projects, and a lot of them used ladder back jacquard. I'm not a fan of ladder back jacquard, but if I want to be able to make this something I'm going to wear and be comfortable in, I'm thinking that I should. Definitely use ladder back jacquard. So yeah, I'm far from it for right now. I have to do 32 rows of 2x2 ribbing. So I think I'm only like, yeah, I'm only 8. I'm only 8 rows. Each round takes a really, really long time. So that is what I'm working on. That is my unicorn knit. One day it will be finished. And I have this big old cone. Beautiful, beautiful. So yeah, these two. And then I have a little bit of black for the black sheep when it comes to it. I'm also trying to knit or film a little series on making this sweater. We will see. I'm not very good at doing that. You know, I tend to forget to keep filming or turning on the camera to film progress. So we'll see, but I'm trying. We're going to try. All right, that is it for whips. Yes, that is it for whips, honestly. My main focus is the artisan. I'm occasionally picking up the porcelain and the black sheep sweater. So that is what I have going on. We'll go ahead and get into purchases and budget and yarn used, you know, in and out kind of thing, because there has been some yarn and that came in. So I guess budget and all that. Oh my gosh, I'm terrible at explaining. So budget, yarn totals, and acquisitions, they're all going to be at the same time. Okay. I'm so terrible at talking. What time is it? 8:16. Okay. So I do believe I mentioned the whole scarn coming in my last video, and it did show up. So I showed you the red, that's the carmine. And then these are the other 2 cones that came with it that I purchased. I'm really in a blue phase right now. Like, I really want some blue garments. It's just, you know, as you see on my nails, I'm just really into the blue right now. So I ordered, these were also on sale when I ordered them. This is cobalt and this is sapphire. Sapphire is very beautiful. I don't know how well this is going to show up. Very beautiful color. I really, really like this. I would really love this as a cardigan. I don't know which cardigan, but definitely a cardigan. It's very beautiful. And then cobalt. Cobalt I like too. It's just not as bright as I was hoping it. I mean, it's 100% wool, so it's definitely not going to be as bright as it could be if it was on a superwash. But again, I don't like superwash wools very much anymore. Like, I'm not a fan. I'm just going to say that. I'm very much a wool, 100% wool kind of lady. I was hoping this would be a little bit brighter. It's not as bright as it is on the camera. Or at least from what I'm seeing, it's not that bright. But it's still really lovely. And I do think I would like a Guernsey Genzer in this. So yeah, I got these blues. I'm going to need to cast on something soon. I was going to say, it's very similar to this, except the sapphire is a little bit more, it definitely is more heathered. But yeah, definitely in a blue kick. Well, these are so pretty. So I got those in the mail. had been just sitting on my desk for a while, but then I finally put them up here, right here. I moved all my sock yarn that I have left to right here on my peg, my grid wall hanging thing. So I put my sock yarns there now that I don't have nearly as much anymore. And then that way, if it's sitting in my face, maybe I will use it. Anyways. All right. And then I was able to get another Knit Picks order in from the ambassador program. And I definitely tried to keep it on the lower side. So this time I only spent, so I'll go into the budget thing. This time I only spent $13.19 on my Knit Picks order. I haven't really posted anything this month, maybe one or two things, so I don't think I'll get a very big discount code for Knit Picks, so I don't think I'll be ordering anything in May for Knit Picks. I don't think so. So, but let me show you what I did choose. I picked kind of no, I'm not regretting it. I was going to say I'm regretting it, but I'm not regretting it. Honestly, I'll tell you what the plan is for it and why I was kind of feeling that way. But I picked Wool of the Andes, worsted weight, in the Haze Heather and the, what is this one? Pink Posy Heather. Aren't these really pretty? These are so pretty. My plan is to knit the Esther. Is it called the Esther? Sorry. I thought I had this. I will insert a photo with the, yeah, it's called the Esther sweater. I'll post a picture with the company name because I don't know how to pronounce this. This sweater has popped up on my Instagram feed a few times and I absolutely love it. But the yarn that is used, this company's yarn, I can't find it anywhere. I had a really hard time trying to figure out what it was. I mean, other than it says 100% Norwegian lamb's wool. Like, sorry, it's behind the camera, so I'm just like trying to peek. I guess I can move it over here. Yeah, Spinville, I think Spinville yarn, 100% Norwegian lamb's wool. It's 50 grams per 100 meters. That's really the only information I could find. When I put it on Ravelry to try to find it, not much information, I don't think, popped up. Let's see, yarns. Yeah, it doesn't come up on at least when I put it in. Did I spell that right? Yeah, it doesn't come up. And when I Google it, it does come up like one place I can buy it, but it doesn't tell you the weight. So I'm just guessing that it is worsted weight because of the 50 grams to 100 meters. I'm like, that sounds like it'd be worsted weight. And I really love the color theme that they had going on. So I was like, well, I'll find something similar on Knit Picks. And I think this is pretty close. I'll insert the picture again. I think this is pretty close. So I ordered 4 balls of the pink and 3 balls of the purple. I'm hoping that's enough because I also have this in my stash. I didn't realize though that this is DK. All right, so Wool of the Andes is 100% Peruvian Highland wool. In my stash, I had these 10 skeins of Highland. It's called Highland DK. I really thought it was, I knew it was 100% Peruvian wool. This is 100% Peruvian wool, so same fiber content. I just didn't realize this was DK. I thought it was worsted. That's why I'm like, this has to be the worsted then. Because I had a bag of worsted weight and I had a bag of DK. The superwash was worsted. The Peruvian wool was DK. So now I'm going to have to figure out gauge for this sweater. Because I was like, oh, cool. I can make that sweater now if I just get the colors. And I have the main color. We'll see. We'll figure it out. Because I believe I can get this in DK. That's why I was like, ooh, do I regret buying this? Not, sorry. Not necessarily. I'm only now just realizing that the weights are different. We'll see. We'll see. But yeah, I think that's a bottom up pattern all over colorwork, of course. And I'm thinking I want to start this soon as well so that I have it for the winter. Because it is so pretty. It looks so cozy and nice. Anyways, we're just going to get, that's another plan for this year. To get this casted on. But now I'm going to have to mess with gauge. So that might happen sooner rather than later, just because I'll be curious what I can do. So yeah, that's all the yarn that I've had incoming. So let me go ahead and tell you what my yarn totals are looking like. Hi. So it is later in the afternoon now, about 1 o'clock. I'm editing the video, and I just wanted to kind of go over the numbers again, because when I initially did it, I noticed that my spreadsheet was incorrect. There was some formatting issues that I did not notice before, and my inability to explain things clearly and cohesively just sucks. So I'm going to redo that clip, and hopefully I will do better. So my yarn stats, my stash stats for the year. So far as of April, it looks like I've only used 4, 5, 6 skeins of yarn in April, and that's only talking about these. I did use 2 undyed skeins of yarn. That's in a different spreadsheet. So 6 from this, 4, 5, 6, yes, from this that you see here. And I brought in 10 skeins of yarn. So at the beginning of the year, I started with 285 units of yarn, and I'm down to 276. So not a huge jump, but we're working. I don't have an end goal, honestly, with what I'm doing here. I thought I did at the beginning of the year, but I honestly don't have an end goal. It is just to see maybe to see if I can actually use more than I bring in this year. I think that might be my goal, to use more than I bring in. Last year, I started the year off at 240 units of yarn. And as you can see, I started this year at 285. So I had brought in more than I had used last year. So the goal, use more than I bring in. So yes, I'm at 276 at the end of April. So we'll see what we get to. All right, so let's go into budget real quick and then just be done with this video, because it is longer than I thought. Yarn budget, I've only spent, again, $13.19. So for the year's total, 135.04 is what I have spent on yarn so far in the last 4 months. That's actually pretty good. Let's see, considering last year by April, 83, oof. Yeah, I had already spent over $500 by April. So this is way better. This goal is to try to not spend nearly as much yarn or money as I did on yarn as I did last year. I spent almost $1,500 on yarn alone last year. So trying to keep it, I'm actually thinking trying to keep it under 500. Maybe that should be my goal, is to keep it under 500. Hi, Orangey, my kitties. He's snoring over here. I didn't even know he came up. He's so pretty. All right, yes, goal. We're going to say that right now, since the first quarter is finished and we just finished the first month of the second quarter of the year. My goal is to spend under $500 this year on yarn. That is just yarn. Patterns. Oh, excuse me. I did purchase one independent pattern and one booklet. Where is my folder? Because I already put it away. I purchased the Cozy Checks hat by Krupa Knits. I think that's how you pronounce her design name. It's this beautiful hat pattern that popped up on my Instagram a while ago, and it took her a really long time to release the pattern, but she finally did. And so I snatched it up immediately. I think I spent like, I'm not entirely sure because it was in euro, but I think around $6 for the hat. I do have yarn in stash perfect for it, so I will be using that for this hat at some point. But yes, I really wanted that pattern, and that hat will be knit this year at some point, so I can have it. And then let me put this in here. Cozy Checks. Okay, Cozy. I already forgot what it was called. Cozy something. Cozy Checks. Haha, was right. The Checks hat by Krupa Knits. And I'm just gonna put $6 because I can't remember for sure how much I spent on that. And then last night, so last night was the last day of April, I purchased a Santa's Garn booklet. I purchased it from my hometown's yarn store, Yarn Harbor, because they actually had it in stock. I did pay $24, and that's including the shipping. So that's that. I did not have to purchase yarn with it, so that was nice. But I did buy I think it was the 2308. Oh my goodness. There's a dress pattern in that booklet that I am interested in. So I was like, I might as well get it while I have the opportunity. I digress. I got it from Yarn Harbor Duluth. I hope it comes. So yes, so I spent $30 this month on patterns. So my total for the whole year on patterns is $150.44. It's more than the yarn. Yep. I have a thing. I see patterns. I'm trying not to let it, it's kind of like FOMO. Like, I'm worried it's not going to be there anymore. And I mean, it is. It's going to be there, right? But I still worry sometimes. So I gotta work on that. And then lastly, I purchased some stitch markers from Denim and Rain. These are from her latest collection, and they're so cute. So it comes with this little astronaut. There's this hand-painted little galaxy, and then these two little beads. So yeah, this is my latest. Here's one that I have from her before. I like getting her little resin sheep. So I have this Halloween one. I have a little tiny mushroom from her. And then I have another sheep that's autumnal. I just don't know where it's at. I don't know what project it's on. Why am I getting so many calls today? So yeah, I really love Sarah's content on YouTube. I love her products. So yeah, I wanted to support her and get these stitch markers from her. So yeah. Oh, the buttons are from her as well. Again, Denim and Rain is her company name. So yeah, she does a lot of resin and artwork, paintings. So I love her stuff, so I get it a lot. Anyways. Why didn't I use that 10% code to use it? I coulda. I forgot. Anyways, so that is all that I have to share about my making. gosh, it's already an hour. I'll probably hopefully edit some of this stuff down. I can't guarantee. We're coming to the end of the school year. It is May 1st. I only have 13 days left, which is really exciting. I'm definitely feeling, like I said earlier, the burnout has been a challenging couple of weeks. And it probably is only because my the teacher that I work with, she just had her baby. So now we have a long-term sub. And so it was definitely a learning curve working under her. And her, everybody teaches differently, right? And they have different expectations. So learning hers, trying to let go of the routines that we had already established. Obviously the challenges that come with littles in a new routine, it's just been a little difficult and definitely a bit stressful. But we are working through it. And we are almost done. I can't wait. As you may see, I did get my nose pierced last Friday. I went with a friend. She wanted to get her nostril done, and I ended up just getting my nose done because I'm a very impulsive person. It really wasn't as bad as I thought it was going to be honest. The healing is obviously what hurts more. And I haven't had a new piercing. It's been probably 14 years since the last time I got a piercing. And so completely forgot that, the piercing itself doesn't hurt. It's the healing process. So it's definitely sore. But I liked it. I like it a lot. And what else? Next week is going to be a fun week at work. We're doing I think next week is Teacher Appreciation Week, but we're also doing like a Decades Week. So on Monday, we get to dress up like it's the 1950s, and then Tuesday is the 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s. So I was a little stressed out because I do like participating in these kind of things. It's very fun, but I didn't have anything for 50s, 60s, or 70s. And when I Google, or at least go on Amazon to try to find, 50s and 60s is very much similar. And then they also put the 60s and 70s as very similar too. So you find all that thing. So I think I'm just going to do the 50s, the 70s, and then the 80s and 90s is easy because I have definitely things in my wardrobe that are very 80s and 90s-esque because I do love the 80s and the 90s, being an 80s baby. So I am excited to work those. I really wish I could knit super duper fast and get the Diana sweater finished for the 80s, but that is definitely not going to happen. But that would be fun. Other than that, excuse me. Other than that, I really don't have anything else to add. I do hope that you enjoyed this video. I do hope that you have a wonderful May, now that it is springtime. And I will talk to you next month. Bye.